Welcome to Alignment First, where we're on a mission to bring leaders back to their peace, presence, and power. And today I'm jamming with Bella Vasta. She is a strainer of information. And if you have misguided or you are managing your business on, as she would put it, gut and a prayer business practices, she's the girl that can help you onboard the right people the right way. And shout out to Scottsdale Living and Amber Enright for putting us together. It was just a quick coffee, and then we went down the rabbit hole a lot of different ways. So I am honored to jam with you on so many different things today. Appreciate you making the time.
Absolutely. Thanks for the time to come on.
You've got one of the more interesting origin stories, because now you are really quick, fast, in a hurry becoming, at least in my circles anyway, a person of authority when it comes to integrating AI into your business. And so much of that is born of the platform that you created via social media channels in your pet sitting and dog walking business.
Yes.
And so let's start there and connect those dots. How do you go from pet sitting and dog walking to hiring an AI?
Right. Everything in my life has been organic, and because of my belief system that you can walk through any door, and if you don't want it, you can walk right back out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So like, why not? Why not do those things that other people would normally say don't do? My parents, God bless them, now that I'm a parent, were probably clenched their entire life because I was the one that bucked the system. Like, for example, this all started because I was living in their home, going to ASU, and I wanted to go out and karaoke at night, but they wanted me to have a curfew. And I thought I was so far beyond that because I was in college, Michael. So long story short, this lady paid me to sleep overnight with her 2 white dogs at the time. That's what they were to me, for $25 a night. And I was like, this is awesome. How can I get more of this? Fast forward, I grew it to a 6-figure, 10-employee business called Bella's House and Pet Sitting in North Scottsdale. From that, I was running the business ministry in my church at the time. I was running the McDowell Mountain Ranch networking group. I was very involved in the Scottsdale Chamber and APRO. I was networking like 4 times a week at least. Like, all my friends were from networking. And it was amazing because we all were like helping each other, you know. Through that, I was also awarded 35 Entrepreneur Under 35 by the Arizona Republic, as well as the Business of the Year from the National Association of Professional Pet Sitters. It exists. And and so I got
all so much right now.
Well, everyone's always like, what the heck? And I'm like, yeah, it really does exist. There's actually 2 organizations. And so I got this notoriety, Michael, and people just started saying, how do I do what you do? And so I started talking to them on the phone, and I was like, this is really fun. Like, I love this. This feels like I'm high. Like, and I was like, I just want more of this in my life. And so I started coaching very just accidentally, again, walking through that door. And so my whole goal in my 20s was to be a wife and a mom. I think I dated everyone on Match.com over 6 foot. And finally, at the time, my ex-husband found me. And we found each other on Match.com. We got married pretty quickly. We had a baby, got pregnant very quickly, and had a baby pretty quickly, which was 6 months instead of the typical 9 months.
Oh, yeah.
And so she was born at 12 ounces, my 11-year-old now. And at 28 weeks, 5 days, we were in the hospital for 6 months, and didn't take her home until she was 6 months old. And then there was 40 hours of nursing in our homes at night. In the morning, I was running my coaching company. I was running my pet sitting company. And the only thing that saved me was systems and processes. Those businesses would have absolutely crumbled if I didn't invest in the foundations. And I have this really strong belief, and I'm sure you see this as you're interviewing people, that if you're in business long enough for yourself, something's going to happen to you or someone you love, whether it be good or bad.
Right.
that you're going to need to step away from your company. And at
Mm-hmm.
that time, is it going to thrive or is it going to die?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I think that, the one thing that we all hate are systems and processes and workflows. It's not sexy, it's mind bending,
Mm-hmm.
but we are living in the best time ever right now.
Yeah.
AI is here and it can help us with all of that. And that's
Right.
that's kind of how it's transitioned. Now I help show people, you said the strainer. So there's so much information out there
Yep.
about AI and it's changing so quickly. It's
Mm-hmm.
like a leapfrog game, right? Once
Yep.
you're like, oh, Opus is great. And then like Gemini comes along. So what I do is I understand everything that's going on out there, but I also understand small businesses.
Yeah.
And so I strain out all the extra stuff you don't need and I serve
Mm-hmm.
you up this beautiful dish that you can eat.
Yeah. The systems piece, right? That's where everybody, at least at the onset, before they realize, like, till the system breaks, and then they
Right.
realize, then they backfill it, guilty as charged. I was that guy.
Oh yeah, we all were.
Yeah. So my question, as you're getting ready, and probably at the very beginning, you pee on the stick, find out you're pregnant. You're not planning on having her at 6 months,
Right.
right?
Right.
The systems that you had built that created the sustainability through that, the early stages of parenting,
Mm-hmm.
was that your own foresight, or is it just like serendipity that you had it done? Like, or is it like, no, I know I need this. You're like that savvy. You made it happen from the beginning.
A little bit of everything. So
Okay.
I've always had this, the minute I got the hit of realizing that I can make more money at my own home, taking a
Mhm.
nap on the couch while I had pet sitters out there visiting pets, I was
Mhm.
like, okay, let's keep doing this. So I
Yep.
was initially motivated by the work smarter, not harder.
Mhm.
And oh, I forget his name right now. He talks about the technician, the E-Myth,
Oh
Mike,
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And so that like really, really pivoted my whole mindset. And I was
Mhm.
like, shoot, if I'm out there like knocking on doors and letting dogs out and walking them all day, like it depends on me. And so I understood that concept really well very early
Okay.
on. And
Mhm.
I'm also a person who's very competitive with myself. So I
No.
always like to kind of like outdo myself.
Mhm.
And I'm like, ooh, how much better can I get this?
Mhm.
And that's just like grown exponentially since then.
Mhm.
Back then I was running on my own ego. I'll
Yeah.
show you, let me show you world, let me
Mhm.
perform, let me do all this stuff for everyone else. So it was
Mhm.
like the result was great, but the drive for it
Yeah.
wasn't sustainable. And it's part of my growth stage, right? I
Sure.
think
Sure.
everyone goes through that. And we
Yeah.
care about what everyone else is doing and we want to do it better, or we want to be the
Mhm.
best. And it's for them and it's not really connected to our why
Yeah.
down
Right.
here, right?
Mhm.
It's
Yep.
like, but why? Why?
Mhm.
So when that happened with my daughter, uh, I remember we came back from our honeymoon and we
Mhm.
got pregnant on our honeymoon in Rome. And we found out like right when we got back, and I stood in the living room and I said, God, why do I have to wait 9 months? Those were like really bad, famous last words. And so that
Wow.
was in January. And by Memorial Day, because my due date wasn't until October. Okay.
Yeah.
So in Memorial Day, my doctor was like, you need to get to the hospital right now. Like my blood
Mm.
pressure was crazy. And then they were like, wow, she's not growing. You have no amniotic fluid. And you need to be on bed rest and you can't be stressed out about anything else. So forget about all your businesses. I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like,
Yeah.
so I was on bed rest for 2 months. And I mean, for the men that are listening who
Mhm.
haven't ever been on bed rest, like I was laying around so much that it hurt to go into the shower and like scrub my hair to like do, because my muscles, well, you know this as
Mhm.
a coach, right? My muscles were just so like it was
Yeah.
crazy. And then when we had her, they were like, well, don't expect her to live. And most babies, they might survive for a little bit, but don't get too attached because
Mhm.
in a day or two she could die. And it was,
Wow.
I cannot even describe to you the emotional like battle that
Oh,
you go
sure.
through with that. And when you're
Mhm.
in NICU for 8 to 10 hours a day, God bless, I was there every single day except for one day.
Mhm.
And for 8 to 10 hours. And when you're sitting there, you can't be on your laptop or like hey, okay, yeah, we'll take care of Fido, or
Yep.
like, hey, this is how you do your systems. Like if I'm
Mm-hmm.
coaching, I had like 10 minutes in the pump room while I was pumping milk. Like that was it.
Yeah.
And it was really the systems and processes that
Mm-hmm.
that made it survivable.
Yeah. What'd you get your degree in?
Communication,
Okay.
because it had the least amount of math. My
Okay.
parents insisted that I go to college. God
Mm-hmm.
bless them, because I understand like part of being a good parent was to get your kid to college. That's
Mm-hmm.
good. And I bucked the system the whole time. Why do I need to do this? I don't want to
Yeah.
do this. I
Mm-hmm.
had to take college algebra 3 times to pass it. So I finally said, what has the least amount of math? It was college algebra, which is 1 for human
Mm-hmm.
communication. So that's what I
Yep.
did. And then I
Okay.
complained when I had to go to history of rock and roll and history of Elvis and jazz. I was like, this is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely ridiculous. So I did that.
Yeah.
And then I was free.
The reason I ask is I'm trying to figure out, are your parents entrepreneurs?
No. Well, my dad had his own like painting company, but it was
Okay.
like him and his friend for a little bit of time. My
Mm-hmm.
grandfather he started a toy store in Boston.
Okay.
And my uncle and my cousins and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not taking anything away from you.
No.
You seem to be in your entrepreneur journey so far ahead of the curve in terms of all the things that, especially with that whole, go against the grainness that's such a part of your story. I'm curious, like, where does your business savvy come from?
I
Because
think
usually the things that have made you successful come after your daughter is born,
right.
not before.
Right.
So is it mentorship? Like where did that foresight come from?
I'll tell you, I think it's a couple of things. One, I think it's just who I am. I'm a firstborn. I was always the child who was the ringleader, knocking on the doors, getting everyone together, loud, very loud, Italian. Like that's just who I was as a personality, right?
Yep.
But my drive for it originally came from like what I was telling you. I wanted to prove it to my dad because everyone was like, that's not a real business. You need real health insurance. I thought for 2 years of doing this business that you could only get health insurance from a company. I didn't know you could go buy your own independent health insurance.
Yep.
And my parents are like, you need health insurance. The other thing is like, I also distinctly remember this time when I was in DC Ranch, they had like some pet event and I had my booth, had my banner, my little things I was giving out, my shirt on. And my dad walks up and he goes, wow, kid, I'm really proud of you. It's a real business. And I just started crying in the middle of that because that was something that my dad, my Italian dad, who is also loud, never really expressed, right?
Sure.
Like
Yep.
he's loud on the outside, soft and mushy on the inside. Okay. But like, as a little child, like I wanted to perform. I wanted to show. And so that was it was very ego driven. Like that's what it was at the beginning. And so because of that, it was like a little survival too. It was, I need to learn everything. I was very curious all the time. I was always like, well, why are we doing this? Why do we have to do this? I'm sure I was annoying AF to my parents because I would never just I needed to know why. And I always say, like I'm unemployable. I would make the worst employee for any company because I'd be questioning and trying to like remake how we do things. I'm also creative by nature. So I like to fiddle around with stuff. So I think all of that came from at first my own egotistical stuff that dries out, right? Until I started finding myself, but also my curiosity. So like I said, like Dan Kennedy, and then I would ring lead, just like I would knock on the doors as a kid and say, hey, you want to come out and play? I started a Facebook group, my first one in 2012. I would grab people and say, hey guys, let's do a book club on Dan Kennedy's marketing to the affluent. And, you learn when you teach, right? And so you just start doing this and it was exciting. And I liked knowing that I had a positive impact on a group of people or an individual. And so that fueled me again too, because it was showing me who I was, my identity. And it wasn't, I was outwardly validating. So that's what like flamed the fire, right? But that only, as you know, takes someone so far
Right.
until you have to figure it out inside of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened. And then there was another dip, you could say. I wouldn't even say that my daughter's thing was. I would say when I got divorced,
Sure.
that was official in January 2020. It was very much like, okay, now I have to survive. And it was like, I have to do it. I have to crush it. I have to, like, you know, dominate it. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I don't want to come from that place anymore.
Right.
And so this is actually the first time in my life, Michael, that I get to build from my heart, from this place where I'm like, I've always known that I was going to be on big stages, and that started right before 2020 happened and the world shut down. But I've always known and felt, my intuition is like, these are all stepping stones.
Right.
These are all, everything is a stepping stone. Like, and that's the way I use it. I don't use it like a pivot or like I'm leaving this and no, it's all a part of me.
Right.
All of those lessons and blessings and struggles and valleys. I saw something today. I'm sorry, I could keep going. That said, the hills and the valleys, it was this ball. Goes the valleys and the hills are what gets you the momentum and goes faster than if it was just a ball going like this. Right. And I was like, that was such a good visual.
I love that. I love that. Tell me about the moment you found yourself for the first time.
I don't know. I don't think there was like a one
when
thing.
When did your ego die?
You're good at asking questions. I don't know. I think there's layers to that. I wouldn't say it was like a light switch. I would say, again, like I could say my ego is way less than it is today than it was last year. And I hope next year it's even less. But I don't believe in like an absolute perfection, right? So I think there would have been many, many stages. I think in order to do that, I had to be out of survival mode. And I had to be really calm and quiet. And I had to understand where the voices in my head were coming from. And the more power I had over the decisions that I made, and they weren't just these emotions, but exploring where these emotions came from. And also different modalities, right? Like
everything you're describing sounds like a plant medicine journey.
Well, hopefully that will be some of it. But it was different modality. I mean, like literally by, you can talk therapy, a lot of stuff, right? But until you go into the heart, that's a whole nother journey. And then, the plant medicine is a whole, I don't have a lot of experience with it yet. I've dabbled in it, but I'm curious about that too, but just everything needs to be the right time, everything. And I'm not just talking plant. Everything needs to be the right time. You need to have the right people around you. To reinforce, because I believe that we are subconsciously reinforcing whatever it is that we truly deeply believe down inside of ourselves. So until we undig it and look at it and say, you know what, let's prune this thing. I don't want this thing in there anymore. And then you could dig it down, but then you got to water it again and again and again. And so like I water it I like leave myself notes around my house. I made this 5D thing where I visualized, what do I want? This is like a vision board on steroids now, because we're in the best time ever. And wrote it's an 8-minute mantra that I recorded ASMR-ish. And I listen to it when I go to bed. But then I took that and I made lyrics and I made songs so I can go listen to my own songs. And then I took the visuals from that 5D and I made pictures, and then I turned those pictures into videos, and then I spliced all those videos together. So I can now like see it. I can hear it as I'm going to sleep. I can listen to it, the music, instead of some music about my dog died or someone doesn't love me and choose me, And so when you figure out like what you want, you also have to figure out a watering plan. If I don't water my grass and my shrubs right now, I actually have to make it more time on the timer. It's getting warmer. They're going to die.
Right.
It's as simple as that, and I need my landscapers to support me. Because I can't go cut all those trees. So like I need people like you or or we need podcasts like this that are gonna like make us go while we're walking, instead of just subconsciously brainwashing our minds with crappy lyrics from some song that we're not even listening. Oh, I like the beat. Yeah, well, your subconscious is
taking in the
absorbing
rest,
whatever message is there. I got news for you.
That's I love everything about that. It's there was a period early in my exposure to personal growth and development. I went to a workshop here in Scottsdale, actually, for a week. And I don't have it within arm's reach. I still have the binder, but I was in such a dark place, living in Dallas, living on the dollar menu, building my client basic goals, trying to get it all fucking figured out. And I think I was on my second round to the pawn shop to make rent.
Yeah.
And I was like, I took out every affirmation from that binder and I put them everywhere in my house. The fridge, in front of me, on the toilet, on the roof when I wake up in the morning, and like, these are all things that, you can automate with AI and stuff like that now. But I mean, dates would come over to the house and think I was fucking crazy. They're like, this dude is either in a deep, dark hole or he's the most optimistic person on the planet, and like, I'm just a huge proponent. Like, it doesn't matter what it looks like.
Right.
And it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
But whatever it takes to rewire the subconscious to start conspiring in your favor.
Yes.
Right.
Because it's doing it no matter what.
100%.
It's just, are we going to like control it, or are we going to put it on autopilot, or are we going to take the wheel?
And so the agency of that practice is paramount. Yes. And there's so much of it, like the majority of what I do in coaching, what Joanna and I do at Next Level for our clients is more accountability than anything else. We guide, we don't prescribe.
Yep.
Is what we tell our clients. And, having that agency, right? That integrity, courage, and ownership is everything.
Yeah.
And it's such a mind melting experience in the very beginning for so many people, because they've gotten so far on the ladder of success out of spite or ego or whatever. And that's a business model built on sand, because eventually you get to a place where, like, and why I say that, I was just telling my wife about this.
Yeah.
The worst part about building a business like that is that by the time you've gotten to a place where you feel so good about it, you want to throw it in that person's face, they're not around to give a shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? You're so far removed from that person, that experience, that your success wouldn't matter anyway.
Yeah.
Right. So whatever the source is that you're tapping into, the sooner the better that to, recondition the mission.
Oh, that's good.
Right. The better off and more sustainable it becomes.
So I think the reason, and I'm curious to know what you think, why people don't do it sooner. Is it because they don't know? I don't think that's it, because I think there's so many people screaming this stuff out there. My theory is that it takes a lot of courage to go deep and stay deep and explore that. And it's uncomfortable. And I believe that all businesses are just a direct mirror of your deficiencies and achievements, right? So if you are struggling with self-worth, then you're not going to have $5 million business. Like, or maybe luck comes along very briefly, but then it's all gone again,
Right.
The same thing with communication, or there's I mean, pick one, right? We all struggle with them.
Well, that was really that work is the impetus for the ARA process that we coach through now.
Yes.
Anchor, release, and align. And really it's super simple. Simple, not to be confused with easy. Otherwise everybody would be fucking doing it, you know. But the first part is, when you're, especially in the beginning, when you're in that prove it mode, that spite mode, you're so damn busy,
right?
That becomes your normal.
Yeah. And your nervous system is all up here. It's like, it needs to stay like this.
Yeah.
And to go like this feels so
it's
weird.
so foreign. It's so foreign. This is huge, because I tell people this all the time. It's not hard. It's new.
It's
right?
neuroplasticity. It's changing this. I think when you and I were talking, I was like, it's like taking the car over a bumpy off-road, right? And it's like, oh God, I'm getting banged, as opposed to the smoothly paved road. But the more you go down that bumpy road, the smoother it gets.
Yeah. Well, even when you come off, I love that metaphor. Even when you come out of that dirt road and you get on something that hard pack, that smooth concrete again.
Yeah.
You still feel like you're vibrating.
Yes.
Right. And that's the perfect metaphor for what's going on with your nervous system. Right. You've been in this peak fight or flight state, for so long, just driving it hard in the red. And then all of a sudden you get to a place where you can take your foot off the gas and it'll keep going. But you don't know what to do when you're not on the gas, right? And it takes a certain amount of time to come back to homeostasis, to down-regulate that sympathetic nervous system and be normal again.
Yeah.
Right?
It feels uncomfortable.
Because this is where you're actually supposed to be. And that's news to a lot of people.
And I think they need, if you're listening to this right now too, I think the important thing to also say is that there's nothing wrong with you. Like, we've never been taught this. This is part of the learning about yourself and the awakening inside. Every single one of us has the opportunity to do.
Well, here's the thing. As you're saying that, it's a byproduct of an industrial revolution mindset where everything was, your value was effort based. Right. I got to go plow this field. I got to go, hammer these machines.
Right.
And then the progression of technology, the mindset is still behind the capability. Right. So now we can do shit, to your point, in terms of leveraging AI and whatnot.
Literally.
Our production cycle is so much faster. And yet we're trying to fill that void with effort. Right.
It's such a good segue into that, because as you were saying it all, I was thinking, like, that is literally the behavior shift that I am trying to facilitate with so many business owners. Because we have this old mindset. And it's even being developed wrong, because people are like, well, it's AI slop. And I'm like, well, if you're getting AI slop, that tells me you don't know how to use AI properly. You know? And so it's such a good point. It's such a good point that the old mindset, it's a mindset upgrade that you need in all areas of life.
I'll share with you a story. I just had this conversation a couple of weeks ago with a client. We're working real hard on that mindset, because he prides himself on 80-hour work weeks, and it's such a badge of honor in his world. Right. Because that's what's normal in his industry. Everybody he pals around with, everybody that he rubs elbows with, everybody that's in the cigar lounge is like, they're all singing the same song. Right. And caught
your environment.
And I caught him, this is what a coaching conversation would look like. It's like, hey, I just want to make an observation in which you're talking out both sides of your mouth, because you have this opportunity in front of you and you're telling me that you can do 40 hours of work in 20, And yet you're looking for more reasons
Right.
to fill an 80-hour work week.
Right.
For what?
Right. Right.
And again, that mind melt like experience, like you could just see his brain short circuiting,
Oh man.
because he's almost rehearsed that narrative because it sounds so good in those rooms. And it's like,
Well,
no,
offense to
I
you,
want,
but it's the bro culture. It's what you're conditioned and taught and
yeah.
seen online and grind
Well,
and how much do you suffer, and suffering is an accomplishment.
mhm. Yeah, dude. Did you see Tony Robinson, Alex Hermosi? Did you see that interview, that conversation?
I did. That was so good
I,
because
Tony Robbins, fuck suffering.
I know. He's like, you're gonna suffer. Don't you know that word comes from like, no, bro.
Yeah, but it was like I had to remind him in that conversation. I was like, hey, this is why you hired me.
Yeah.
Because you wanted a change.
Right.
And if you your default patterns got you here, they'll take you no further for the things that you actually desire now. So we have to not only do things differently, but we have to think differently. And
what was your moment?
Oh, fuck, man. Which one?
See? Yeah, you tried to ask me like
no, my let me close the loop on this really quick, and then I'll tell you the story. It's like, because if you really can do 40 hours of work in 20, if you can really do that, what do you want to do with that new time that you have available?
And they don't know. They have to stay busy.
And if you can't answer that question as we sit here right now, and I told him this, as we sit here right now, that's a false narrative, or you're full of shit. I don't I don't believe you to be a person that's lacking integrity. So it can't be the full of shit part.
Right.
But it's not true yet. It's not true either.
Right.
So like that's the work. And for me, the monsoon came through, and I had just transitioned away from the gym, and I was having, an identity crisis because I had to, as my girl Mo says, I had to kill my darlings. This thing that I had spent more than a decade, pouring my heart, soul, blood, sweat, and tears into is now gone. And there was a piece of me that was trying to recreate that experience in a different container. And it's like a Tuesday afternoon, and I'm on the front porch watching my kids go ham in the rain. And I had this out of body experience where I'm observing my family. And I realized in that moment, and this is the impetus for how we coach our clients now in terms of agency and being the creator of your own universe. If I was doing business, if I was living the life that I was living, I'm not there for that moment. And everything that I'm building now, business or otherwise, is by design to insulate these moments so that I'm around for as many of them as possible.
Yep.
And that is, I just gave a presentation at the Thunderbird School of Global Management a couple of weeks ago, and I told that story. And like these kids are like gung ho in this Masters of Global Management program, to just die on the sword for their business. And it's like, no, because you can do a lot, as you know, by yourself.
Yeah.
And then eventually you're going to get to a point where the only thing available to you is the paint by numbers, ABCs and 1, 2, 3s of how Google was built, or how Amazon does things, or how they do things at Tesla, whatever. And fun fact, in the eyes of the S&P 500, you're considered a small business until you eclipse $50 million in revenue.
Yeah.
And I challenged the room that things probably get really rosy south of 5 million for 99% of this room. So what are the idols you're actually chasing? Because if you pursue that trajectory, right? And one of the questions they asked from the field was, how do you pick mentors? I was like, I pick the ones that embody and exemplify the life that I want.
Amen.
Right.
Yep.
And what I don't want as a byproduct of my business is a divorce, not having a relationship with my kids, having succumb to insert vice here.
Right.
To numb myself. Right.
And intentional.
And you're the creator. So I'm on the porch. I'm having this experience. It's like, okay, I'm taking my own medicine right here, right now, in this moment.
Yep.
And anything that moves me away from this, even if it might be a great opportunity, it's not a great opportunity for Michael.
Right. Became your anchor.
And that thought, right? That North Star, most people don't know what it is, and they continue to miss it because they're not present.
I think your nervous system also has it's kind of like a hard thing to answer when your nerves are shot and you're in survival mode.
Sure.
And so it's really hard to like unearth that when you're in stuff or you're going through stuff. So I talk about that we're all in different seasons of our business too, growing, creating, just smooth sailing and coasting. Yeah. And so to know what stage you're in is also really important to that. So you've got to be in the stage to be able to just be silent and not go run off and try to distract yourself. Something your ego, protecting yourself.
But it's, the big word that we use in our world is practice. Nobody's batting 1,000 at this thing. And at the same time, to use a sports metaphor, you're not in a game time scenario. It's impossible to live with the stakes that high at that intensity for a prolonged period of time. It's why they only play football on Sundays.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The other 6 days are committed to what? Practice.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a really good point. Because I think too many people see this stuff and think they need to be perfect. And if they're not perfect, then they beat themselves up. Right.
Yep.
And it's not. And then ergo, the things that I like to call brainwashing yourself that we were talking about earlier, I have this, go ahead. I have this spot I have a 2-sink bathroom in the master, right? And in between the 2 mirrors, there's a nail. And when you walk into my room, I have just this random wall. And I buy things as I see them and I like them and they say fun sayings on them.
Yeah.
So whenever I stop seeing what's in between those 2 mirrors, I take that off, I put it up on this wall, I grab something else and I put it there, right?
Oh, so it's new again. Okay. So it's new again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I'm constantly changing that stuff. The other day I wrote on here, show me how easy this gets. And I was like, screw those things that I did. And I just like nailed it I put it right there on the wall. So if you walk in, there's just a piece of ripped off paper hanging there because I see it every day, And then once I stop seeing that, and then it's the same around my whole house. I mean, it's just, I really believe we could do so much of that everywhere.
So I'm super curious about this phenomenon. I know if you dive deep in the annals of psychology literature, somebody would be able to tell you what it actually is. But when you stop seeing it, what is that a signal for? Is it cemented in your subconscious when you stop seeing it, or is it so redundant it has no gravity to it anymore?
I'm going to answer this in a different way. And as I'm saying this too, by the way, I could turn my camera on the top edge of my wall, because I look at this wall all the time. I also have them all like this. They're all around this thing. It says no bad days. I can do all things. When you stop looking around, life is pretty amazing. There's just stuff everywhere. I think what happens is, and I know this just from my daughter because she had some, she has eye issues for a long time. Our brains, we don't look at every single detail everywhere, right? So when something's new, our brain is like, oh, that's new. And so you pay attention to it. But then once your brain learns that that's what's there, your brain just kind of goes over it.
Right.
So
Okay.
I don't think you stop seeing it because it goes down into you. It's just more so of a reminder for me of whatever it is. And because my brain is like, oh, we already know it's there, we're going to go over it. Then you change it out with something. It's like, oh, something changed. Like if you change your room around, right? It just feels different. The energy shifts a little bit. So I think that's more what it's about rather than it gets, solidified into me. Because I've got, there's like 20 of them and I like rotate them all the time.
You're so my people. I love it.
I know. Like a person, yeah. And there's, side note, there's, is it called alignment? There's a fun app that like you can set it to whatever and it'll always come up and it'll change whatever affirmation that comes up too. It's kind of the same. Maybe that's where I got the idea. I used to have that all the time and you could pick your poison or you could put your own ones up there because we're looking at our phone like, like 10 times an hour minimum. Like, why not, again, subconsciously train yourself? Yeah, we're in charge of a lot more than we realize.
Yeah. And I think, well, at least it's been my experience, both personally and in my practice, that we give so much of that agency, we forfeit so much of that agency unintentionally because we're not being intentional with who we're talking to, how we move through the world, etc. I just, before this podcast, I was just catching up with a buddy of mine who's going through a hard time. And, if I'm being objective about it, we're business acquaintances, and I told him, because of all the things that he was just open, transparent, and vulnerable about, I was like, look, doc, here's what I want for 26 for the two of us. I want more collaboration. And like, we don't ever have, after today, we don't ever have to talk about business again. Cause like, I want to know you. I want to be in your orbit. I enjoy your company. I love everything that you're about. You raise my frequency, and God, I really hope that I do that for you too. You know what I'm saying? But like, this is really important because, and there's a question that I wanted to ask at the very beginning that this brings me back to. How do you, in your world, having been in entrepreneurial circles for so long, the past 20 plus years, how do you navigate the waters of your relationships not being exclusively transactional? For some, you go from this world of networking 4 times a week and like all your friends and there's that you have a million acquaintances and no friends. That's a dynamic that you see in a lot of these quote unquote successful rooms, right? And it's like, wait a minute, is it the reason that is the only reason we spend time together is when there's a transaction between us, or do we actually enjoy each other's company and lift each other up? Like it could, like, let's do some business for sure, but which is it genuinely? So where's that filter for you?
So I had a really interesting situation where I didn't experience that a lot because up until about a year ago, when I started doing all this AI and hiring stuff, most of my networking or whatever was like online. It was, if you were not a pet sitter or a dog walking company, I didn't really care. So I would go to these events to make friends. And they'd be like, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm a speaker and I do this. Like, oh, cool. I have a neighbor that's doing that pet sits. I'm like, no, it's fine. Like, I do like, it's fine. Like, how can I help you though? Or like, what's going on with you? Like, I started last summer seeking out AI groups locally that I could go to. And I started meeting people. And then I started seeking out groups of people that were just doing cool things like wellness and like saunas and yoga, or like going out dancing. And because I was like, I needed to curate friends, and I I didn't have any friends after I got my divorce, really. I
Mm.
didn't. Because when I was going through everything with my daughter for a couple of years, I was in survival mode to the point that I even blocked my parents out for 6 months. And so I had the unique opportunity to intentionally build it
Mhm.
back up. And so
Yeah.
right now, if you meet me, and I might have even said this to you when we first met, I said, all right, so what's your magic? Like, if you're going to be
Yeah.
my friend, you need to be magical. And I can
Mm.
tell you something magical about every single one of my friends right now. Now, it's not the traditional high school where they all get together. Most
Right.
of them don't even know each other. It's very rare occasions, maybe once or twice a year, because there's an event and I invited all of them to it, that we all
Mhm.
show up at the same place. But
Yeah.
I also have this feeling that if I know you and you invite me somewhere and I know there's going to be other people there, I know it's going to be worth my time because you're
Yep.
cool and
Yes.
you're going to hang out with other cool people. Like I can trust you.
Yep.
So I kind of come at it from a little bit of a different way. Before I was married and when I was doing all that networking in the beginning, my friends did come from networking, but we also did things after the
Yep.
traditional networking. We were closing down Martini Ranch when I was like 25, 26, we'd
Yep.
start off with the Scottsdale Chamber on Thursday nights and end up taking 602, 200, 2000. That was the cab at like 1 or 2 in the morning on Thursday night. So I knew they were my friends.
Yeah.
But then like we kind of all went our separate ways when we started getting married and having kids. And then I went through my thing. So
Mhm.
I would encourage people, it's okay to also have these boundaries,
Mhm.
and it's okay for all of your friends not to know each other. And it's okay for them to fill up different areas of you. I have one friend,
Sure.
we talked about her, Olenka. You guys should go check her out. She'll come and kick my butt at my kitchen table, and I'll do that for her too, like once a year when we need it.
Yep.
I have another one, Michelle. She's like super spiritual. We'll come together and we'll manifest some. I'm not kidding. Like the universe realigns itself in 24 hours when her and I intentionally come together. It's not even, at first I was freaked out and I'm like, of
Mhm.
course it did. And
Mhm.
so I've got all of these different people and I'm really proud of them, Michael. Like
Yeah.
I know that if I needed something from any one of them, I could
Mhm.
call them, and without them, I wouldn't have as much accountability. I wouldn't have
Yeah.
as much support. I wouldn't have a witness to my pain
Yeah.
or my celebrations in a way that gets it. Because I don't want anyone that's going to be stuck in the content of it. Oh, no, he
Yep.
didn't. Like, that's not the kind of friendships I want. Like, I just, Michelle told me about this book, Existential Kink. And
Okay.
it talks about the fact that, we have these things happen in our life because secretly there's a part of us that actually likes it. Right.
Oh,
Again, going back to
sure.
patterns. And so it's like, oh, really? That situation happened. Well, what part of
Mhm.
you is allowing it because you secretly love it? It's like, just called me out.
Dude, that is
So
such.
cool.
Yeah. I'm a sucker for language and what
Yeah.
I've come to know as word codes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And I'm a huge fan right now of using different language to describe overused
Yes.
verbiage.
Yes.
So like everybody's like trigger, 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 trigger.
Yeah.
And it just came to me. My coach gave me this wisdom. She's like, instead of using that word, let's what about activated?
I like that because it's positive.
And well, it's neutral
Oh,
because
for me,
it
activate is like,
well,
let's go.
it's objective in the sense like what's happening to me
Yeah.
inside
Yeah.
me, as opposed to triggered. It's like because of something,
Right.
right? We're moving from a blame and
Mm-hmm.
an externalization
Uh-huh.
to an internal assessment.
I love that.
And that's what I love about it. So, and I'm very much a heretic in my gene keys,
Mm-hmm.
right? I have this pattern of breaking it till it's fixed. So I'll just try shit,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're just gonna see what happens,
I love it.
And I'm in this conversation. You can like feel the friction mounting, and I go to use the word triggered. I was like, nope, we're not using that word anymore.
Yeah.
Hey, look, this is what I'm observing, and I feel myself getting activated
Mm-hmm.
because of it.
Mm-hmm.
And man, the way we were able to come together and collaborate
I
on
love it.
solution and
I love
update and
it.
upgrade our agreements as to how we're going to treat and respond to each other.
Yeah.
Oh, like that feedback loop got so tight.
That's literally like changing the thing on the mirrors. Because
Yeah.
you're changing the way that you're seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
I love that. That's a great story. You know,
Yeah.
something else that I find myself naturally doing that I want your listeners to steal.
Yeah.
So, you know, and it goes into friends, and it can be, you know, you're the frequency part of it. Or raising the frequency.
Mm-hmm.
People like to cheers, or maybe you don't cheers, or you can start a cheers. And all I do, and I go on this, it comes out like a blibbering blah, 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 but people always laugh and they go, and it stops everyone and they go, whoa. And I go, cheers, everyone. Like, I'm so happy that we all said yes at the same exact time, that we're here right now. Aren't you just so excited for all of the decisions you just made in your life to be right here, right now? Like it's all jumbled, right? But it gets everyone to stop for a minute and be like, or sometimes I'll just be like, I'm so grateful because we all said yes at the same exact time. And now we're here experiencing this, and we can never replicate this ever again.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's just like, but it like literally just brings everyone together, and it just builds it's just the gratitude and the being able to think about what you're doing. All of it is just so important. And we all can be that for other people. And when you teach it and when you're putting it out, it gets more ingrained in your own brain. So
the pride you have in your circle, I love that, because that resonates so hard with me, because I know, because I saw Amber after you and I got together, and I was like, Bella, she's fucking awesome. Thank you for that introduction. And like the twinkle in her eye, like, yes, it was everything I knew that it could be, and it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I got paid the greatest compliment from somebody not too long ago. He's like, you know, I've never had a bad experience from anybody you've introduced me to.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what happened. That's why I have pride, because like I said, when you really know that the person, your friend, has magic. Yeah. You don't have to waste the energy or the time or the brain power of, well, I don't know, is this going to be worth it? Is it going to, I showed up sight unsound because Amber said, hey, you got to meet him. I was like, all right. I didn't even know where I was going. I got lost. Like, I mean, and we sat there and our hour went by so fast, but it wasn't like, okay, so what do you do? Okay, who can I help? Like, it was a real connection, you know? And that's what happens when you curate intentional things in your life, whether it's something on your mirror, something you're listening to, or people you're hanging out with. Yeah. God. So good. It's so good. So good. So I want to go back to what you have on your wall, that statement of, show me how easy this could be. Right. I'd be remiss if I squandered the next 7 or so minutes and we didn't talk about leveraging AI. Okay. Right. That's a great, you're good at segues. Very good at segues. So in the sentiment of showing us how easy this could be, synthesize AI and how we're not using it correctly. I got you. I know you do. I'm going to use an example that everyone knows. I imagine this is going to come out really soon, right? We're recording this February 9th. Okay, so we just got done with this wave of this whole caricature of my business, right? And everyone's doing this trend. And I always love these trends because what it does is it gets the mainstream who's too good for it. It appeals to their ego. They want to see what they look like because you didn't have to pay someone on Main Street in Disney World to sit there and sit for a caricature, right? Like you get it in a second. But if you look at my Facebook page, which I welcome everyone to go follow me, Bella Vasta, everywhere. What I did is, I did my character, but then I made her speak. And so she spoke. And then I had chat make lyrics of everything that I do, which is, by the way, something I've been meaning to do anyways. And I threw it into Suno, Suno, where you can create any kind of music. And I put the lyrics into there, and I picked my theme, my hip hop, or I think it was Afro beats. Like I love Afro beats.
Mm-hmm.
And it came up with a cool song. And so then I take that song and I can use it on my reels. And now I just took this silly little trend, stepped outside the box, and did all these things because strategically I know what to do.
Yeah.
And that's what I teach on my podcast. That's what I teach on my wall and on my feed. And with my clients, they continuously say, I didn't know you could do that. Opus just came out in Claude, and oh my God, I was literally just talking to my computer like it's a human today. It was so good. I really could talk about this stuff forever. And so while I have this breadth of knowledge, right? And it deals with small businesses, not enterprise, not all the tech stuff. It's like, okay, yeah, but how can I use this? And that's what I get to do. And the number one thing is that people hate hiring because they don't know how to hire. No one's ever allowed them this space to say, what kind of culture do you want to build? And like, oh, culture, oh, mission, oh, like I'm allergic to it, right? Why? Because you have to really dig deep, and then you have to put it on paper, which means you have to own it. And that's just scary. Let's go back to identity. All right. So that's what the whole hiring thing ends up becoming, your identity and who you're going to what you're going to build your company after.
Yeah.
And hiring isn't some stale thing. It's a love letter. It's a two-way process. The reason why people drop out and ghost you is because you've given them nothing to fall in love with. And so if you can create a whole entire process that it's not just you wanting that person, but it's that person wanting you, that's where you get beautiful culture and employees that become advocates. But too many times we're not thinking about hiring like that. And hiring is marketing, okay? And people don't think of it like that. So the reason why, so it stops you in your tracks. But if you have a GPT that knows you, if you have if you're able to understand how to ask it to ask you questions so that you can give it what it needs, and you actually work as a thought partner instead of a rewriter, it changes the whole entire dynamic. And now the things that you're like, oh, I got to test for responsibility. What do I say? I used to sit there with people and try to come up with questions. Or we used to go to Google and see what was been published on the internet. F that. Like, you don't have to do that anymore. So all of these barriers that we would come up to, we now don't have those barriers if you know how to leverage AI. Now, can I just go say, hey, AI, what's a good responsibility question? Yeah, but that's going to suck.
Right.
You need to understand the foundation that you got to do. Once you got that foundation, you are off. You are flying. And so all of the hiring actually is very in alignment with every single thing that we said today.
Yeah.
It just is. Does that answer your question?
Oh.
I know we have work.
No, you're a fucking rock star. I love it. I love it. No, I'm having this conversation with my buddy today. He's a coach too. And AI always comes up because it's in the zeitgeist right now.
Of course.
And
hey, listen, if you're not using AI right now, other people who are will outpace you.
Yeah. And one of the things that we talked about with regards to our respective practices is it lets us do what we are here to do. And that's this part.
Yeah.
The face-to-face, knee-to-knee, heart-to-heart part of it, without getting bogged down in the minutia of tracking and documenting and and it streamlines all the parts of what we do that are necessary, that aren't our genius.
Yes.
And I really feel like, try this on and see how it fits, because I'm about to make a statement and I don't know if it holds enough water.
Okay.
But what I just said, it allows us to streamline all the parts of us that aren't our genius. I feel like that applies to everyone in how they can leverage AI. Fair?
Yeah, it holds water. Absolutely. Before I got on with you, I was updating bellavasta.com.
Okay.
But I don't know how to use Elementor. So what I do is I was working with Claude, and I was taking screenshots, and I was like, explain it to me like a 10-year-old. And it is step by step, right? I have split screen and it's telling me what to do. And I'm like, I don't see that. Here's another screen. I love using AI for tech support because I am the worst tech person out there. But I didn't have to go hire someone and wait 2 weeks and spend $800. If I just applied myself, I put on some Hernan Catato, and it was just like in the background, because I know that's like good brain food for me. And I was like, all right, we're gonna do this. Okay, yep, my eyes are getting a little hard. Okay, we're gonna put on my blue light glasses. Yep, we're gonna create the environment. We're gonna get in and do it because we're living in the best time ever to have a business, you guys. You just have to know how to use it, and you have to know what it's capable of. And AI is such a spectrum that it's not just like a prompt. It's not. It's so much more than that.
So cool.
So yeah, it holds a lot of water.
Love it. Bella Vasta, where can everybody go to find you? Love
Bella
on
Vasta
you,
everywhere.
learn from you.
Bella Vasta everywhere. Go follow me on Instagram, Bella Vasta, just like pasta, V like in Victor, ASTA. And then on Facebook, I promise you, I'm going to be very entertaining on Facebook. It's my personal profile. It's up public, but go ahead and follow me. Say hi. Tell me you heard it here. Cool. And thank you for your time. Thank you for spending time here.
So good.
Yeah.
Go check out everything that Bella's doing. She is a wealth of knowledge and you say strainer, I'm going to say synthesizer of all that information and make it so much easier to digest and implement. I appreciate everything. And if you're on a mission to be the fittest leader possible, that starts with integrity, courage, and ownership, but lays on the foundation of alignment first. We'll see you next time.